right, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Thanks for Sharing podcast. We are brought to you by Dan Rouse at Cherry Hill Mitsubishi. It's been a month now, and you still owe me money, man. KO Pest Control, Pace Roofing, Colt Recording, Hoover Delivery Service, ERT Restoration, Art History Clothing, Black Sparrow Tattoo, Four Seasons Landscaping, Sharky's Barbershop, RD Realty, Bone Marrow Capital Adjustment, and Santini's Sandwiches? I forget already, man. They make great meatball sandwiches if you like meatballs. So check them out. Today I got the legendary Chuck Treece with me today, man.
Woo!
It's awesome to have you here. I wore a Thrasher shirt that everyone clowned me for because the sleeves are too small, because I refuse to wear a medium. So that's what I thought this morning when getting changed.
Good. Very nice.
I said I'll wear a Thrasher shirt because Chuck's on. First African American on the cover. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Did I do my research, man?
Yeah. I did that thing somehow.
That's
right.
I
did. Yeah.
And it's an Argentina flag, which is where my mom's from.
Yeah, that's dope. I think
it's for some skater from Argentina, but I don't know anything about skateboarding that much.
Okay, that's good. I'll find out.
Yeah, I think
that's good.
You know a thing or two about skateboarding.
A little bit, yeah. That's a couple things. Roller skating.
Roller skating.
Yeah.
So I heard that was the beef back in the day. Are you more of a beef with BMX guys, or is it both?
There's no beef. Beef was just with weird energy people. But if you're rolling, it's good. The scooter kids were kind of wild because they run into you.
Yeah,
that's hard because the scooters are like level with all your vital parts.
Right.
And it kind of hurts.
That was like my era of growing up. Like Tony Hawk just hit out, and they were like, "What can we do that's corny?" And they were like, "We'll get scooter." I had a scooter. I'm not gonna lie, dude.
No, it was fun. He had scooters too. Like Karen did.
Yeah, it was all the rage. That's
it
did,
is.
Especially when you're a kid in that era.
Yeah. Not in the balls though. Not scooters.
No, not in the balls, man. So you're pretty much. I was gonna tell you on Instagram. You're pretty much like a living legend, like an enigma.
Oh my God.
You're just you're just floating around, man. Because I got a buddy that skateboards, and this is when I started the podcast. So I was like, eventually I'm gonna get Chuck on, and he was like, dude's a legend. I was like, it's just Chuck, man.
Been here forever, you know. It's funny.
Yeah.
No, honored that comes with it, but it's just the years, and it changes, and to how many people have done. This is a long time. Yeah, long time, very long time.
A lot of accomplishments. My mind's always blown because. As much as I go to hardcore shows and punk shows, like it's like usually like I'm there to support my friends, and like some legendary hardcore band will be playing. Like I saw you play with Underdog, and someone's like Underdog's playing, and I was like, okay, which means literally nothing to me. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I'll check them out.
Okay.
And they're like, they're legends, dude. And I was like, okay. Then you came pulling up like 20 minutes late, and you were like, I'm in this band, and I was like, holy shit. I was like, what does this dude do?
It's fun. There's guys, musicians and people needing different things at different times, and it's cool that we had a network. You know, it's how Jeff and I met. You know what I mean? It's a network of people.
Yeah.
Doing things, and so it's like it's good that the punk rock ethos kind of now is blended into everything. Social media used to be what punk rock. You know,
yeah.
You know, it's like,
and everything back then influenced what I like now. Like my favorite band's Newfound Glory, which is an ongoing joke.
That's wild.
I listen to a band of dudes in their 40s who still whine about losing their girlfriend, and I'm like, yo, this shit still slaps, dude.
And they're still losing their girlfriends, too.
Yeah, and they're still losing their girlfriends. But they grew up on stuff like Underdog, Bad Brains, and all that stuff, and I'm like, I should probably know more about this shit. But I don't. But I am very interested. I was thinking about this a lot this week about like with skateboarding, right? I feel like that's like one area in life where it's okay to meet your heroes, because I have a big like don't meet your heroes type thing. But skateboarding, like you can just show up to a park and like a pro skater will be there, and it's like just
you get bugged out until they kook out, and then you're like, oh, there's a kook, and then you're like, oh, whatever.
People. Like I go out to California and skateboard, and like Tony Hawk will just be there, and like I don't think like people just go as apeshit as you would think. I think they're just like, I guess Tony's here skating.
Right. To me, Tony's pretty wild. When he showed up at FDR, he had like an entourage with him, and I had seen him since he's been a little kid, like 14, because we were all little kids at that time. Right. But to see him there with Bucky when it was years ago, and it was wild that like people like look up to him like he's a Michael Jordan. You know, he's got that iconic figure. Which God bless him, man. All the best to him.
Yeah. Seems like a good guy.
Yeah, he is.
Some people I just think I'm like, dude, they seem nice in real life. Yeah, he's one of the few where I'm like, he's probably a sweetheart of a man.
Yeah, Tony's wild.
Everyone else, I'm skeptical. If you have any notoriety, I'm like, you're probably a piece of shit, right?
Piece of dung.
Yeah, piece of dung. What else is going on with you? What have you been up to?
What I've been doing is Jeff and I are going to start making some music soon. Have a new project with my son Kieran called Bing Crosby, kind of stoner rockish, just jamming, having fun.
That's what we need, right?
And then I'm doing my best to learn how to ride my skateboard again without hurting myself.
Right.
So that's a new trick for me.
You're still at it every day, right?
Yeah, it's weird. It's hard on the body.
Yeah, how long have you been skating, man?
I started when I was 11. I'm going to be 57 in May 30th, so that's like...
It's a pretty long time.
It's a long time.
It's longer than I've been alive, probably.
Yeah.
not to make you feel something.
No. Yeah, there's definitely been things. There was no computers and things when I was little.
So what else?
Rocks and like dirt and things.
Well, computers just started like when I was growing up, and like now I know nothing about them. I thought at the beginning I was like, I'm going to be a computer guy, and now the farther I get into doing comedy in this podcast, like I'm clueless until like. I have people hit me up. They're like, "When's the podcast drop?" And I'm like, "Whenever Davron puts it up." Man.
Exactly.
I'm like, "You think I know what I'm doing?"
Yeah, social media skills are pretty weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to be an intellectual person of chaos.
I know.
To master it.
My one buddy was trying to tell me about the YouTube algorithm. He was like, "You got posted at the same time, exactly the same every week." And I'm like, "Listen, it comes out when it comes out.
Yeah, it comes out.
If it blows up, that's great. And if not, one day
later."
Yeah. But no, I enjoy the whole skate community and the punk community just because it's just, I don't know. I do stand up, as you know, and it's not like that. You know what I mean?
Different world.
Yeah, they're all out to get each other for some fucking reason.
I've experienced that world in the comedy world a little bit. There was a guy that was on Power 99. Mike was his first name. He's a comedian, but when I was playing with this dude Sabela in Philadelphia, we would actually do these open mic jams before the comedy nights at Warm Daddy's in Philly.
Okay.
So it was really cool to see these guys kind of warm up backstage. But then I had a chance to walk with a couple of comedians as they were talking to each other off stage, and it was so cutthroat, like the conversations between each other. It was like if you weren't an intellectual, you just got burned within the first minute.
Right. And I'm not like a burn you type of guy. I try to be nice to people, which is a crazy concept, but I remember I told someone after our open mic, I was like, "Oh, good setup there," and they were like, "We don't talk to each other like that. We're comedians." I'm like, "I don't know if I want to do this shit."
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I like the whole skate and punk community, because it's like everyone seems to get along, and I'm like, this is more my speed. Like,
it's possibly because everybody wants to be a comedian in skateboarding, so it's easier to just kind of like be a skater and then throw jokes in as you're skating.
What else are you gonna do? You're gonna bullshit. You're out there in the sun all day skateboarding with these dudes, and it's like, you want to do this in silence, or you want to bust balls a little bit?
Bust the balls.
Bust balls, man. You got to do it, man.
I'm melting as this thing is going down, so I apologize, but we're all good.
I feel like I got primetime Chuck Treece action right now. This is the way I want it.
You do.
Yeah, I do.
You do.
I will say I was very impressed. I was at Jeff's house when you were recording one time, and you had one of the infamous milkshakes.
Yeah, those things. Yeah.
Oh wait, that was the chalk line night today, right?
Yeah, and in my world, the AA world, I've seen a lot of fucked up people, dude. And you drank a weed milkshake, and I was like, this dude looks like he shot 10 bags of heroin into his neck. Then Jeff's like, "Are you ready to record?" And you got up and you nailed whatever you were recording in one take. And I was like, that's not even humanly possible.
And then he went back in. He took a little nap, and then I think someone shot you a photo, and then they took their fingers, the iPhone.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, I laid on the floor. I was so burned out. I remember that. Oh yeah, okay, that's right.
Like
that's
saying,
right.
You feel like an angel.
Oh, that's right. Oh my God,
that was the most impressive shit that I saw, because you just came up out of a dead sleep and just nailed it in one take. And I was like, damn, dude.
Yeah, that was harsh.
Yeah. Despite being a sober guy, I'm a big advocate of weed. I have a lot of dudes friends that left AA, and they're just like full-time weed now.
It's good. It's fun.
And I'm like, good for you if you can do it. It just doesn't work that way for me.
Yeah, it's good. It's better.
Which I know for me.
Right.
But I'm pro whenever someone does the weed. I'm like, that's so awesome.
Listen, weed's good.
Yeah.
Shroom tea's good. You know,
Yeah.
all that stuff is fun. The fun stuff that eases in.
Yeah.
This isn't too much bow.
I like the not fun stuff where I'm just immediately depressed. That's what my twist is.
Oh,
I'm like, let me ruin my life real quick, man. I retired when I was 24. Man.
Okay, that's doing dabs. That's you can hurt yourself doing dabs.
I got a couple. Dabs weren't around when I got sober, and thank God, because I have a couple boys who do dabs, and I'm like, their minds are melting.
Yeah, you get
okay right
yeah,
now?
no. THC crack.
Yeah, how complicated can you make weed? You know what I mean? Just seems like a lot, dude.
It's heavy. Very heavy. Very heavy.
A little bit heavy.
Very heavy.
Weed crack is the proper term.
Weed crack for dab world is weed crack. You know, but you got to get high somehow.
Yeah, there's few things that have made me cringe in the drug world. That might be up there.
Yeah, pretty much so. Pretty
Like
much so.
just the amount of work that it takes to smoke weed.
You could burn down everything because you have to do so many things just to get the thing rolling. You know what I mean?
I remember after my second time in rehab, I got out, and this was after I was smoking crack. My friend smoked a Perk 30, and this is what a scumbag I am. I looked at them like they were a piece of shit. I was like, "You're smoking a pill? That's so much work, dude." And they were like, "Weren't you just smoking baking soda rocks?" Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, textiles.
Yeah,
Textile University.
they're like, "Hey, weren't you just smoking drywall a week ago?" And I'm like, "Fair enough, dude."
Studying.
Yeah, I think weed's a great avenue for people. That's the moral of the story, dude. As a sober guy, I'm like, weed's good for you, dude. You know? It's a plant. It's not that complicated unless you want to do dabs. Then you're making it complicated.
Yeah, for the actual Pennsylvania weed is like chewing gum. You know what I mean? It's like.
Well, you're a connoisseur. You've been all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who has the best weed? Is it California? I would say Colorado. In the
Colorado pretty much blew me away. Per dispensary, Denver is pretty heavy. You know what I mean?
They were like the first to get into it, right?
Well,
I think they were before California.
They were after California, but they have the snowboarding and skateboarding seasons. So they have all the infrastructure of people going there because of Aspen.
Right.
So from Aspen on down, you have nothing but snow. And then Breckenridge is like the surf spot of all snowboarders. Yeah. And they all smoke weed there. So it's like it's...
Smart marketing.
Yeah. Breck is like the creme de la creme of like being a snowboarder and being hip and cool.
Yeah. Do you snowboard too?
I've done it once at Blue Mountain. And then I didn't go back. The coldness...
Yeah, I don't like the cold. I tried it once and I kept falling because I wasn't that good at skateboarding to begin with. I landed one pop shove it in my life. I couldn't even know.
Okay, that's a good trick to know.
Yeah,
I don't even know if I've done a pop shove it yet.
Yeah, really?
Shove it. I've done a regular shove it, but not a pop shove it. I would like to do one.
Dude, maybe we can put it out like Chuck Treece presents the pop shove it, and people will be like, "Damn."
Yeah, you got to show me.
You got to go back.
Show me.
Yeah, I can't skateboard for shit, dude. I quit in the 5th grade because my brother landed an ollie before me, and I just could never get the concept. So I got a lot of friends that skateboard, and I'm like, more power to you, dude. I just can't do it, dude. Right. I don't know if it's lack of coordination or athleticism, but
lack of wanting to get hurt. You know?
Yeah,
it's just that.
I'm a man filled with many fears and anxieties. That probably goes through my mind. Like I could fuck my whole shit up doing that, dude. True. What's the worst you were ever hurt doing?
Skating. I was skating a ramp in New Jersey called the Barn Ramp, and I was doing this trick called a backside boneless, where you go up and you plant your foot on the top of the ramp, and then you're supposed to jump back in with your board, and then there's a thing on the top called coping, and if you're supposed to make sure your board is over the coping. Well, I had too much confidence, and locked up on the top and went from the top to the bottom. It smacked my head, had a helmet on, and pretty. That was the hardest, the roughest one because it rocked my body pretty bad.
But going into it, you were like, "I'm gonna land the shit.
I'm gonna land the shit. I got it. I'm good." My friends, and if I get hurt, my friends are gonna help me off the ramp. They're like, "Dude, get off the ramp."
Yeah.
You know, because when you're a skater in a session, you could tell when someone's either going too far or having too much confidence.
Yeah.
So like it was good that they kind of let me know, like, look, you know, you can push yourself, but you know, there's no paramedics here. You know, like we're all skaters here.
Yeah. This guy doesn't have any medical degree, dude. He's on a skateboard just like you.
Yeah.
What's your favorite place to skate?
My favorite place to skate
Do
probably.
you like to keep it local, I guess, in Philly? Or just, I mean, across the world?
Probably my favorite would be FDR Skate Park first.
FDR guy.
And then after that would be Golden Skate Park, which is a park that's out in Denver. It's like a real fun park. I mean, there's a bunch of them around, but kind of just skating places where it's real fun.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Not too much pressure.
You want to be around a good community of it, I think, too.
Yeah.
Which I think Philly has a good community. Yet again, not
amazing community.
Big, but a couple big name skateboarders have come from the area.
A lot.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah. Philly's got a great scene of people. It's just the weather. We have the winters are longer than the summers.
I know. Then it's hard to get out there.
Yeah.
People still go out, though.
Yeah, we were still skating through all the snow.
My good friend I grew up with, he's big into skateboarding again. He's like a year older than me. He's like 33.
Okay.
And he's just like, he's like out there all the time. And he's like, he's a bad friend is what it comes down to.
Okay.
Like he makes excuses and he's like, dude, I'm a dad. And Mark over there is like in our group chat. And
Okay.
Mark's a single dad.
All right.
And he's like, my boy Shane's married, wife, kid. And he was like, dude, I just dedicate so much time to work and being a dad. I'm like, dude, you were skateboarding last night. Like, you bag of shit, dude.
He's learning how to be young, you know.
Yeah,
he's a kid.
He's reliving his youth, dude.
It's funny.
Then he does like weird things. Like you're obviously you're familiar with Bobby D, who's going to do this podcast. And
Yeah, Bobby.
You were not Activate with him. And,
Yes, yeah.
And we were asking our boy Shane because he always goes to the same skate park Bobby goes to. Me and Mark, we were like, oh, you know Bobby, great guy. And he's like, nah, not really. And he sent us a picture of him one time. I was like, that's so weird, dude. Like, I hope you introduced yourself. And I was like, hey, I'm friends with Joe and Mark, dude. Just sniping pictures of this dude across the parking lot.
Funny, Bobby's a riot, man.
Yeah, but I've seen you skate a couple times, so good for me. You know what I mean? I saw you. I forget what the place is called. It was in South Philly. You played a McRad show.
Ultra Street, probably.
Yeah, in the warehouse.
Yeah,
which cracked me up. The concept of McRad cracks me up because it's just you and whatever two dudes you find.
Yeah,
which is
exactly.
great. And it's like, I hope you motherfuckers know this shit.
It has to happen that way. You know because the original band was it was just the four of us as young kids.
Yeah.
And it was started because we were all young and skating and in Philly and everything was broken down.
Right.
So we just got together and kept that vibe. And once it's kind of like your childhood band, once it reforms, you kind of have to keep it moving. It would have been great if we would have stayed together. Like most of the Descendants are together. But once everyone started flipping, once Circle Jerks guys started flipping bands and you know, Bad Religion and everybody, it was just like, because you want to keep the sound, and other guys have tried. I guess what it was is other people that tried musicians outside of hardcore or punk rock scenes for their bands, and it just didn't work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you had to kind of like
fucks everything up.
Well, yeah, because you need to know the dynamic. You need to know the van touring. You need to know that there's so many different things that like rock bands were privy to that underground bands had to just kind of like push through. We had to bust doors down when rock bands had more carte blanche treatment. Yeah. So it's hard for a rock guy to come to a hardcore tour. But then once the rock band started losing, and then as your band's Newfound Glory and all these other bands started blowing up, the rock guys wanted to be in the pop punk band.
Right.
It's so stupid.
Which I'm still in that crowd. I'm like,
that's
man,
a good thing.
Rips.
It does rip.
I think it keeps me young at heart. That's what I like.
It's great.
You know
I mean, there's a lot of. I've seen a lot of good shows. I mean, and I'm good friends with Fred. You know, Fred Mascherino from. You know,
Taking Back Sunday, Color Fred,
Brody. All of that.
One.
All of that. That's Fred is he is that. He did start that.
When he left is when I stopped listening to Taking Back Sunday. Actually,
of course. Why would you? No disrespect to the band, but Fred is a piece of our. Excuse me for this, but Fred is a piece of our musical sound.
Right.
You know what I mean?
How can you not pull for a local guy?
Yeah,
because we have that Philadelphia chip on our shoulder. So like, if one of us makes it, we're like what do you mean, dude? They're the best, you know. That's why I won't ever talk bad about Kevin Hart, man. I'm like, he's a Philly guy. I got to stick with him, right? Doesn't matter how Hollywood he gets.
Yeah, Kevin is pretty massive.
Yeah, he's the man. So you actually lived out my dream in life, which is to have your own Nike sneaker.
What? Okay. That's good.
Doesn't that mind blow? Because Nike SBs are making like a huge comeback. People are like going shit about them.
People are tripping about the sneaker, and people are tripping about the fact that I had a chance to do it. But it was a timing situation, and a friend of mine had just been working with Nike, and had access to bring new things to the table. Now it's a little bit harder because they've kind of like shifted the program around a little bit.
Yeah.
But then my my situation was new to them and new to the situation of me even having that responsibility. So I thought it was cool because I always looked up to Michael Jordan, just because of what he was and the fact that you could go on 52nd Street in Philly and buy some cheap sneakers and you wouldn't break your ankles.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So
it's a crazy accomplishment because Nike SBs, like the Dunks, are like huge right now. Like, and I'm big into sneakers. Right. I don't spend crazy money on sneakers because I'm just not built for it. Like, I don't care that much, but like I appreciate a good sneaker. And the second Nike SB Dunks like started making a comeback, I was like, my boy has his own SB. They're like, what do you mean? Like, he owns a pair? I'm like, no, like they modeled a pair after him. And they're like, that's pretty wild, don't you think?
Crazy. Yeah, it took a year to plan it out. It was wild. And the guy that Stu Kevin was telling me that people have gone almost the whole year of them putting their shoe together. And I think they take a year out to kind of like groom you through that process. And he said some people have actually ruined their sneakers. They've even coming out. They've gotten all the way to the end. And there was just some kind of attitude adjustment that Nike just said no, and they just shelved. And I can see that because the process was so tedious because we had to make a turn in the shoe design because it was supposed to look like the front cover of the magazine. But Glenn Friedman was like, look, I want to keep things more solidified to like why I'm a photographer, not a shoe designer. I mean, he had his other reasons, but I'll keep it to a photographer should have their shine in the magazine versus once you put it on the sneaker, it may take the effect away from it. Right. And I'm glad that he said no, do a different design. Because it made the sneaker stand out more versus being it looks like a front cover of the magazine, and the sneaker can't look like a front cover of a magazine.
Well, I think the insole is a picture of you from the magazine, right?
It's an ad. It's a Thunder Trucks ad that Bryce Kanights did he took that photo.
That's awesome. Yeah. Very clean sneaker, man. I'm a big fan of it. I keep looking. See, this is the problem with why I don't get as many sneakers as I have. Why I don't get deep into spending a lot of money because resale is crazy. Because everything's so limited. Because I looked up the McRad Dunks, and I think last time I checked, they were like something crazy. I think they were like up to $700, and like there's a certain point where like they might be higher. I'm gonna check right now just because I am curious. You got to know.
And with a Basquiat painting, just went for like what a couple $1 million. Somebody just bought it.
See, in my size, they're like $450 right now.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah,
that's wild.
One day I'll get them, and I'll just.
It's a good chunk of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Walmart has one pair for like $600. And that's when I was like, why would Walmart be in this market? But I guess they have access to goods, and they're tapped into the underground market of the dunk, which is the Walmart's not an underground company.
It's pretty wild, man. It's the shit that like they go for. Like I've seen the Freddy Krueger dunks. They're like going for like $50,000, and I'm like, who would ever spend that, dude?
Yeah. The market and the people that love it.
Some sneakerhead will see this and correct me, and they'll be like, "You're exaggerating, saying $50,000." I'm like, I probably am. Dude, calm down. It's a joke.
Yeah, it's like gambling without driving.
Yeah,
pretty much.
That's why I give Kanye all the credit in the world because he has made by far the ugliest sneaker in the fucking world, and people are buying it like crazy.
No, what is that thing? It's just like a couch with like air in it or something.
Yeah, they don't look pretty. It's not a pretty sneaker.
I mean, no disrespect, but yeah.
We can disrespect. Kanye's losing it, I don't think Kanye tunes in. Big fan. If he tuned in, I would be like, what? Yeah, I know. Watch it blow up in 10 years, and Kanye's like, I don't appreciate how you talked about me. I'm a big fan, man. It doesn't matter.
In 10 years, and web time is 10 minutes. So.
Yeah. Yeah, true. It can feel like dog years, man. It's crazy. So, dude, this is what blows my mind. There's a couple things that just blow my mind. That's why I was excited to have you on. It's just the fact that you have a Wikipedia page. Like, don't you think that shit's nuts sometimes? You ever think about it? It's probably nothing to you because it's you, and like, who pays attention to that shit?
It feels like I just got like it's like an adult version of what it would be like to be on some survival team or something. It's like you gotta uphold to what's up there on the card,
right?
And it's cool, but it's cool. It'd be cooler if they immediately made baseball cards out of Wikipedia cards.
Yeah, right.
Just so that then it would be because I'm a baseball fan and a big Phillies fan.
I'm a big baseball guy.
Yeah, so since day one. Like Dave Cash, Larry Bowa, Mike Schmidt, the original Dons. But to me, because I like baseball so much, that if the Wikipedia would have been on a card like that, then I would have been like, okay, that's because it's something that reminds you of your childhood. Like when the internet was, I was introduced to it through Jason Jordan as far as the music and the interview aspect of it, because I did my first interview with Jason Jordan and with another person, and we were just typing, in New York, and it was amazing to see from that point how it felt unreal, and now it feels like my left arm to do something like this on the internet. You know what I mean? So like it's to know that Wikipedia started because people were putting content up is more of a mind blower to me, that the fact that there's something that's, the internet's invisible. Yeah,
especially something like Wikipedia that someone's taking the time to be like, oh, you didn't get this fact right about Chuck. And it's like, damn, dude,
weird.
And they keep up to date like daily on it. Whoever runs Wikipedia, I don't fucking know shit about.
God bless them, man.
I take that as cold hard facts. Some people are like, you can't do that with Wikipedia. I'm like, yeah, but they probably know more than we do.
They're the new dictionary.
Yeah, but you were talking about Mike Schmidt and Larry Boa, who's still coaching for the Philly. He's like their third base coach or some shit.
What?
He's still at it, man. Dude loves baseball, loves the game.
But, I didn't know that.
Mike Schmidt, and you may say no disrespect if you'd like, but he's a dickhead.
Whoa, that sucks.
Because my dad used to work security for celebrity golf tournaments, and he was driving through a bunker, and my dad said, "Oh, Mr. Schmidt, nice to meet you." And he just looked at my dad, and he was like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Oh, wow.
And then he just drove off.
Bummer.
Yeah, my dad followed Dave Marino around that golf tournament, who said, "Nicest dude ever."
Yeah, that's good for him.
So good for Dan Marino, right?
Yeah.
The cat makes an appearance.
Schmidt cooked out. Once you cook out, you cook out.
Yeah. You don't want to be caught in that situation, you know?
Yeah.
So now I have no desire to meet Mike Schmidt.
No. Why? What? He's played baseball.
Yeah, he played baseball. Give a fuck. I'm going to write that on his Wikipedia tonight. I'm going to be like, Mike Schmidt's a dick, dude. I almost did it on the Phillies Instagram one time because they were like, "Which Mike Schmidt a happy birthday?"
Oh, God.
I was about to comment and be like, "My dad said he's a dick."
They're
like, "What the fuck's your dad know?" And I'm like, "I don't know. He met him, dude. That's more than most people."
Yeah, met the prick.
Yeah. Baseball players, I think, are like the weirdest dudes out there, dude.
I've met too many. I mean, I met them as kids, just my friends, but as professional guys, I haven't met too many of them. That was that one pitcher that got into a random, not a fight with Eddie Vedder, but he was hanging out with Eddie Vedder in New Orleans when Pearl Jam played down there, and they went out one night and they decided to try to act like they were rock stars, and the dude, some locals from New Orleans shook them up pretty bad. It was crazy.
Yeah, you don't fuck around in New Orleans.
Yeah.
That's a little seedy city right there.
Yeah, it was heavy.
Yeah. Never been, man. I gotta check it out.
Oh, yeah, you should go.
Yeah,
you need to
check it out, man. I want to say I want to go to places for the food, but we were talking before this. I'm like a picky eater, and it's like it wouldn't even really matter to me. I'd be like, "Oh, you make cheeseburgers down here? That's sick. That's what I'm gonna get."
Exactly, because gumbo looks wild if you're not into that whole thing. You know what I mean?
My favorite thing to do when traveling is to drive by a store that is across the country, like if a CVS, and we drive by and I'm like, "Damn, they got these out here too." And everyone just thinks I'm serious about it. They're like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?" Of course they do.
Them Subways, everything. Yeah. You know what I mean? You can go get your everything. You can go get your latte, whatever you want.
Right. I think In-N-Out's overrated, though. That's one thing I don't really care about.
Yeah, it had its moment for me, and then it left.
Yeah.
That White Castle, you know what I mean? White Castle is more the Philly hustle, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you,
well, I
if
think
you
the
needed
closest
to
one's in New Jersey, so it's like it's a mission to go. If
yeah,
you
right,
go.
Right. They had one in North Philly for a long time, because we used to hit it when we were like low on the low. We'd be like, all right, let's go to White Castle.
Yeah. Be like,
little square Johns.
Yeah, lift this couch cushion up. Let's hit White Castle, man. Let's gather it up real quick, man. So what aspect do you like live the multiple dreams of the professional musician, professional skater? It's just so funny. It's like that's like one person's dream job, you know what I mean? And you have two dream jobs for people, you know what I mean? Which is pretty wild.
I'm happy about.
Which one do you lean more towards? I mean, you're still skating, I'm sure.
Yeah,
you get up there in age, it's like a little harder on the body.
Yeah. It's the intention of skating was to rebirth it because it had fallen so far away from how the craze of baseball, apple pie, you know, the Chevrolet type of thing. Skateboarding in the 70s was huge, and then we were all considered weirdos and dummies. And so we had something to prove. The ones that wanted to stick through it, the ones that didn't want to be judged, left. You know what I mean? Yeah. So now that skateboarding is accepted, it's more or less music is starting to feel like how skateboarding used to, because original music is harder to kind of come by. You can get more music on the internet, but you got to sift through more to get through more. Right. You know what I mean? Back in the day, we had fanzines telling us, go get this record, go get this record, go see this band. Right. You know, if you like this fanzine, you'll like that fanzine. If you like this band, you'll like their whole crew and what they're doing. You know what I mean? It's just like skateboarding used to be like, you know what I mean, like how punk rock was. You know what I mean? Skateboarding now is so blown up that my thing is just, I just want to stay in flow versus trying to prove that we're cool. But music, you have to always kind of redevelop it. Yeah. So it happens. And skateboarding does too, as far as the level of tricks. But everyone accepts skateboarding now, even more so than music. Music changes.
I was just watching a Quincy Jones documentary on Netflix, which was awesome.
That's a heavy one.
And knew the dude had his hand in like every pop. But like, dude, when it like comes to some stuff, like my favorite theme song of all time is the Sanford and Son theme song.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
And they're like, yeah, Quincy made that shit. And I was like, no kidding, man.
He's unreal.
But he said something, and he's like, hard to believe there's only like 14 notes, right?
Yeah,
in the world. And I'm just
like,
I'm like, people are still reinventing that shit. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, this jazz guy told me that do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, to. If that's the right way to say it, is every note within that any jazz person plays. He's like, if you know that and you can take off from that scale and improvise and then come back to the scale, that's just as bona fide as jazz as anything else someone learning how to read.
And as complicated as it can be, because I majored in music in college before I dropped out to pursue a life of drugs. Now I don't play like any music because I just don't really care for it that much. I love it, but it's just like, you know, I started doing stand-up. I fell more in love with that. I was like, it's always...
That's a good one.
Like, I can't remember, like, moments in my life with, like, any art form. Like, I don't remember most about, like, what I listened to. Like, I remember the first CD I got was at The Wall, when The Wall was still a thing.
Sick.
And I was 5 years old, and my mom bought me Bone Thugs and Harmony. That was my first album ever.
Yeah, Bone Thugs.
The one with Crossroads and the first of the month on it. I think Eternal 99 was what it was called.
Sick.
Yeah, but... I still remember the first time, like, I was a young kid, and I think Killing Them Softly, Dave Chappelle came out, and I was like, this is the best shit ever, dude. Like, how do you not think that, dude? So I remember both how powerful something in art form can be. I mean, I was like, I remember that shit, dude.
Right. And the one thing when you mentioned Dave is, like, I met Dave through Santi White, who's Santo Gold, or Santi Gold, basically Santo Gold. And how Dave is on stage, like, in person, every time I try to give the guy a compliment, because I had just got finished watching the first movie that they put out, the weed movie, Half Baked, and then there was a couple other things he had done. And I remember going up to him because he came to a showcase that we had, and I was like, Dave, dude, you're really funny, man. Like, no, I'm not.
Yeah,
you really no. And he's a skater too, so it's like,
oh, he skates.
Yeah, he's a straight skater. You know what I mean? Just like, you know, all about it. And he's like, dude, I know who you are. I'm just here to just support Son. You know what I mean? Because she lived up in Brooklyn and knew everybody before everyone blew up.
Right.
But he was sincerely not about any self-praise. He was just like, I'm more about like my life in New York as a young person. He skated Brooklyn Banks. He hung out with all the dudes. He hung out with everybody that was cool. You know, Harold Hunter and all those dudes. He was just there in the mix of all that. Like,
that's crazy.
Yeah, that's you know, which is wild. You know what I mean? Good for him.
And what a wild ride you've been on, man.
It's funny.
It's crazy.
It's funny.
Just like, I know Chappelle when he was still, you know, a young buck.
That's fucking good, man.
Yeah, but he's influential to me, definitely. You know what I mean?
Witty.
Yeah, very witty, man, which I like that kind of style, you know what I mean? And like we were talking like a little bit earlier, like I'm not into the whole ball busting. Like it's great. Don't get me wrong. I do it with like my real close friends. But like random strangers, it's like all my buddies that do comedy, they're like in roast battles all the time. They're like, you should do it. I'm like, no.
Yeah. The battle.
Because it's just gonna be not me being a joke after a while. I'm just gonna I'll like match up with someone. I'll be like, you're a pussy. You know that, right? And they'll be like, whoa, what the fuck, dude? And I'm just gonna be like, I don't know. I didn't have anything to say. So I'm just gonna be mean to you.
Exactly. Condescending.
It's negative, man. It's negative. I don't need that energy in my life. I like positive vibes, man, which I'm sure you can appreciate.
Yeah, it's baked goods.
Yeah, baked goods, man. You know what I mean? Makes sense to me. Fully baked. So, your Wikipedia, you played the bass on Billy Joel River of Dreams. Is that true? Is that a true statement?
Yeah.
So I know you're a session musician. How does that work? Do you actually meet Billy Joel, or are they just like come in and play this shit?
They called me in and said, hey, we need you to play this. I was more or less a bass player playing 4-string, and so there's basses have different strings. So they were saying, hey, we have a session for you, which is like, okay, this is work, money. And I love working with Joe, Phil Butcher, Nicolo guys, and everybody down there. But they were like, hey, you need a 5-string bass. I'm like, and at that point, I've learned enough from people to say, well, I have a 5-string bass, and I didn't have a 5-string bass, but I knew a friend of mine had a great music store, Cintioli's in South Philly. So I went to, you show up and you're like, listen, I'm going to be on a Billy Joel record.
Yeah.
And he gave me a good price on it, and it was crazy because I remember walking in, and I remember on the way to the studio in the cab, I was like literally like doing finger exercises just so I wouldn't get in the studio and be like, hey guys, I've never played this bass before. Put me on this record. But it worked out really good, and it took about 25 minutes to track. But Billy Joel was in a really bad dispute between his brother-in-law, which was his manager, with some money embezzlement, and he left the country and left Billy tracking a record. So Billy was tracking a record in L.A., New York, and Philly at the same time. And at that time, the studios were like $1,000, $2,000 a day. Yeah. So he was, just to keep up with the money that he had lost, he was like pushing this record through. So that's how that song got pushed to the front, because he was pretty much in a bad situation where he had to kind of figure things out.
Hey, it's safe to say that you saved the record, man. We could just say that. I do like the humility and the humbleness of you, dude. I really do. Because if I was on Billy Joel's record, I'm like, I was on that shit, man. I was fucking that B string up, man. They said to get a 5-string, I was fucking that B string up on fucking
It's crazy. Yeah. No, it was fun because but it was so far removed from. I was just in the Goats. I was in all these different modes, and soon after that I met Jeff and those guys, and not that people didn't know about Billy Joel, but our music references at that time were Slayer and you know what I mean, and it's just like there was so much coming out, we were just getting hit over the head all the time, and then it was on the hip hop side. So my thing was like, who's going to relate to Billy Joel? I played on this great record, but it's like all of us were so into just all this hard shit, and then Meshuggah shows up, and it's just, how do you compare a Meshuggah conversation with a Billy Joel conversation?
I fucking love Billy Joel.
I love Billy Joel too. You know what I'm saying? He's a great songwriter. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? I guess because for me, I remember when I first heard like Hella Waits from Slayer. You know what I mean? Right. And being like, I heard Metallica, but the Slayer shit is out of my mind. So to me, having that in my bones before I even became a real deal session musician, being a metalhead, it just makes you into a certain vibe. You know what I mean? Not that pop music doesn't matter, but we had to keep up with all the bands. You know what I mean?
I feel like the older I get, the more I appreciate pop music, because I'm like, it's so much talent in like writing something that catchy and annoying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I always point out Jack Johnson, the fucking surfer dude. Yeah. I'm like, dude never wrote a sad song, dude. They're all happy.
Yeah.
Whether you like them or you don't like them, dude.
No, Jack can write a song.
Yeah, he's the man.
Jack's a bad boy. Yeah.
But I have like a couple like my music selection is like very go-to, like on the thing. It's either like 90s hip hop or early 2000s pop punk, and like that's it. And a lot of like the Beatles. I listen to the Beatles a lot. My dad loves the Beatles. I was raised on the Beatles.
Great band.
I'm happy you said that, because I know a couple people in the hardcore and punk scene. They're like, they were fucking overrated. I'm like, you're out of your mind.
Yeah. That's that whole concept of 4 guys getting in the studio and making all that music, and having like, there's probably a couple of guest different musicians and whatever. Maybe Ringo didn't play drums on all the songs, but they could actually deliver that stuff live, and they could tell you about those records, because a lot of those records recorded were in 5-10 hours. You know what I mean? They didn't give those guys a lot of time in the studio, and those guys were the first band to even be allowed in the control room. They didn't even allow bands to go in the control room back in the day.
I was even thinking about like how big they were back in that time period,
right.
And when I was watching that Quincy thing, how big Michael Jackson was at that time, and it's like we haven't had someone that big in a while, where like people are just like losing their mind. They're like, I'm gonna stab you to just see this fucking
exactly.
face, dude.
Yeah, that's when it was quality and theater.
I feel like we're due for another one though. I feel like there will be like a pop sensation or a rock group or a rapper where people are like, I will kill anybody just to see this dude's face. You know what I mean?
But maybe comedians may come up. There's comedians right now starting to take over in all these different facets.
They really
comedy is opening the door and letting everything attach itself to its own rope.
Yeah, I always think it's the funniest thing to get into, because I just started doing it because I spoke at a lot of AA meetings and I would just crack jokes while doing it, which maybe not be the place to do it. But people were like I would go into rehabs all the time, and like people would. The patients would be cracking up. I'm like, maybe I should be doing this.
That's a good concept.
Not to toot my own fucking horn. Like, I'm the funniest man alive, dude. Because I don't, just like Chappelle, not saying I am Chappelle, but I'm like, I feel that way too. I'm like, I'm not that good. You know what I mean? But I think it's funny, like all these people, like I'm friends with you, Jeff, like all these people who've done shit in like music and skateboarding and like all this cool shit. And like I remember I talked to Jeff like when I first started doing comedy. I was like, who do I talk to about like doing this? You know what I mean? He was like, I have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
Which it's cool. Like I started doing this podcast and I have all these cool people to talk to, but it's just like it's just like they're like, how do you know people that are that accomplished? And it's just like you can't fucking. I'm like, I don't know. None of them know comedians, dude. What do you want me to do about it?
Yeah, right. Comedians are hard. That's a hard tribe to get into and stay vibrant, man. That's a wild world. I mean, Richard Pryor is one of my favorite comedians, and like so it's just like Jonathan Winters and Robin Williams, and you know what I mean, like George Carlin. There's so many heavy ones that have been really influential. Freddie Prinze, who's like a total classic.
Yeah, died early, man.
Yeah, that Freddie was unbelievable, man. Like you know what I mean. So it's like, it's comedy's a part of music. It's so essential, and it's definitely a part of skateboarding.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. Like some of the biggest comedians in the world right now are probably just like. To anybody else, like I'm a big comedy fan, but like if I like talk, like Tom Segura's like one of my favorites, but like if I talk about it with like people I work with, they're like, I have no idea who that is.
Okay.
I'm like, dude, he's on Netflix, dude. Like 1 million followers on Instagram. Like 1 million people know who this dude is.
Right, definitely.
Which is wild, dude, because there's some rappers, like there's always new up and coming rappers, like and they'll just die, and people are like, how do you not know who this dude is? He has 30 million followers on Instagram. I'm like, I never fucking heard of him, dude. Instagram's a big fucking place, man.
Yeah, it's good. And you're not trapping. You know, you're doing things different.
I mean, Bobby's free, so that's all that really matters.
Yeah, Schmurda. Congrats to all y'all up there.
Hey, big fan of the guy. Never listened to one song about him.
That's wild.
Just love the attitude and the
good
energy,
music,
dude. Yeah,
good music. That guy's
I gotta get heavily into it, dude. But I thought it was funny because every month he was getting out of prison. Like for 2 years, everyone's like, he gets out next month. And they're like, they pushed it back, man.
Yeah, he kind of held his team proper. I mean, he held his position on his team proper. God bless him.
He took it on the chin, man.
Yeah,
good guy, man.
Yeah,
I don't know if that makes him a good guy, but
yeah, you'll see. He's out here now getting stuff put on his neck. I saw him getting change put on his head and him laughing. So which is cool. I don't know. Just being in that whole situation of lockdown is scary vibe.
I'd be happy as shit if I was a free man too for however long he was going. Be like, I'm out now, dude.
Yeah, that was a good run.
Jeff just gave me the devil eyes, man. He's watching me. We were just talking about you, buddy.
That was good. Big Chris says what's up.
Probably. What's up? Big Chris. No, never.
Did you talk shit about me? Yeah.
Well, I was not talking shit on you.
No, sorry. Chuck wouldn't let that loud.
Yeah, no, I would never do that.
Listen.
1992 we've been friends.
Yeah, I know. It's a long time, man.
That's the dream team. Chuck and Stress, man. The Treece Productions, man.
It's the Evil Knievel ramp, dude.
Gemini.
Yep.
Gemini's.
Evil, yeah.
I'm a Scorpio, man.
Yeah, we get along as friends. Scorpio woman.
Yeah. Are you a big astrology guy? Are you?
Yeah, I have my ways around it. Being in Philly, you can't help it. Everybody was pretty much murked out with astrology, and
That's true.
Incense burning and weed, reefer smoking.
Yeah. Those damn reefer heads, man.
It's so funny.
Weed has evolved too much, man. I know we were talking about it already, but
it's good. It's good. I love Philly because I heard the first thing you got that Nick, and I thought when I was a kid, I thought it was like we got a nickel, and he's like, no, like weed. Oh, okay. What are you talking about, Nick? Like, it's just crazy. Nick, dime. It's just the common conversation around money became the common conversation around weed. Yeah. If you say nickels and dimes now, people be like, what are you?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Like, an eighth. What?
Inflation has went up too, because even when
Yeah.
people are saying a nickel when it comes to money, it's usually like either 500 or 5,000. They're
Yeah,
like, I'll give you a
yeah,
nickel for it. I'm
yeah.
like 5 cents. They're like 500. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, I could always use an extra 500. You know what I mean? But,
yeah, 500 would be nice.
Yeah, it's always nice.
Every second.
Yeah, every second. I wish I was making money like that, man. One day YouTube will start paying out for this fucking podcast.
Yeah, get it, YouTube. Get us
Yeah.
all paid up.
Yeah,
We
get us all paid
give you
up.
content.
Until they start flagging me, they're like, you were wearing a Thrasher shirt. Fuck you.
Yeah, that's the whole thing that I want to stay away from, the whole flagship part of the internet. That would be great.
Yeah, that would be great too. I don't need to get pulled on something and it's like, hey, man.
We've already been pirates. We've already been flagged enough as being punk rockers and skateboarders and
Exactly.
weirdos. You know what I mean?
A punk rock band sent my good buddy a cease and desist for using their logo on a T-shirt, which I think is the most non-punk rock thing too, dude. And I won't drop.
A little cross promotion. They weren't having it.
Should I drop the band name, dude?
Nah, it wasn't. I mean,
I thought that was like the funniest thing ever, though. I was like, you're a punk rock band and you're getting mad that someone like kind of bit your logo a little bit.
yeah. Don't sell my anarchy. You know what I mean? It's like it's
Exactly.
what it is.
It's all
you know?
political now, dude.
It's all good. I mean,
Who's got time for that shit?
nah, you can't stop people from the black market. Is a black market. Let me say the glowing market. It's a glowing market now because Walmart is on the glowing market.
Yeah, I'm trying to get into the black market and the dark web, dude. I'm trying to be.
Oh, okay. For socks.
Yeah, for socks.
You know what I mean? Like porn socks or something.
Yeah.
Funky feet.
I just want to see what it's about, dude. I'm just interested. It's just gonna be like, yeah, what it is, you know?
Why not? It's just Mars. We're gonna do it on Mars.
Going to Mars, man.
Yeah.
Are you an alien guy too? Are you
No, I'm leaving most of that to Jeff.
Yeah.
Because if they come and pick up him first, then he'll figure it out, and then hopefully he'll come back and get all of us.
As much as Jeff knows about aliens, the only thing I took away from it is one time he said he was like, bullets don't affect them. So in my head, I'm just like, aliens are bulletproof, man. And that just stays with me forever.
Yeah.
I only got guns for
The
humans.
bullets are
Yeah.
Not animals, not aliens, 'cause they won't work.
Yeah, I just watched Men in Black, so like that's what I want to think, the whole alien thing. Like they're probably already here, and there probably is an organization. It's probably exactly like Men in Black.
Men in Black.
Yeah, Men in Black.
Yeah, Men in Black.
Yeah, you agree with me? You're the guy. You're the alien guy, man.
I just know these things innately to be true.
Yeah, innately to be true.
No, but it's crazy because there's people have been saying they've been seeing things floating around in the sky lately, and I'm just like, if people think that we're the only people here, you're out of your mind.
See, and this is where I stand on it, dude. And this is where I stand with most things, which probably isn't a good thing. It's like I don't care that much. You know what I mean?
Good.
Like I believe it,
Yeah.
but also I don't care that much.
Right.
It's kind of like politics and conspiracy theories. It's fun to get into,
Right.
But I'm just like, I don't care that much. You know, at the end of the day, it's good to get worked up over something.
Care about.
Not much, man. It's bad. What's my higher purpose? I really don't know yet. To be determined, man.
Yeah, I don't know. The alien thing is pretty heavy. It may be why politics are so crazy.
I think what is your higher purpose is real heavy, dude. You know
True.
what I mean?
Yeah, the higher purpose is be on Mars. But Sun Ra talked about Mars, so I think Mars is
Mars is the
a
key.
future mental place.
Is it-
He knew.
Sun Ra knew.
Yeah, he knew.
Sun Ra.
He did.
Yeah.
Chicago to Philly. That's a wild track.
Our sister city, Chicago. So
Oh.
I'm told.
That's good.
I don't know. A band wrote a song about Chicago, and it's called Sister City.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, okay.
Sick.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
A lot of similarities. They both have an L.
Yeah, and there's a lot of heavy emotions in both cities.
Yeah,
Big time.
exactly.
You know what I mean? Well, yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I'll go to Chicago right now, man. You know?
Chicago's beautiful.
Yeah.
Nice.
See, I need to see. I'm trying to be the Chuck Treece of comedy and just get out there and just see the world.
You got to do it.
Yeah.
Step on the stage and
Just tell jokes.
make people laugh,
You know what
and
I
then
mean?
keep it moving.
I'll get like a McRad set going. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Break it
I'll
down.
like start a comedy troupe, and it's just gonna be me and two dudes in whatever city I find. I'm gonna be like, hey, listen, you're up to do this. They're gonna be like, Mister, I don't fucking know you, and I'm gonna be like, a comedy cult. I think people have tried already. You know what I mean? I don't know if I want to start a cult. That's a lot of pressure. People looking up to me.
You gonna start a cult?
Cult.
Oh, coat.
Yeah, I'm not a leader of men. That's what I know. You know what I mean? That's what I know in my heart. Like, I'm a good fill-in, until the leader shows up, and then I'm not even second in command after that. I'm like at the bottom of the list. They're like, hey man, thanks for keeping it warm. I'm gonna go hide in the corner somewhere. You know? That's heavy, dude.
Yeah. The cold thing is definitely it's a little cultish. To do that, all that thing. It takes a lot of work. Yeah. A lot of convincing.
Charles Manson didn't seem that great, and he was pretty good at the cold.
Yeah, he was pretty good. He's pretty intense.
Yeah, pretty intense. Yeah. Not a guy I really want to meet, dude.
Well, yeah, and he was a songwriter also, which is crazy. I found out.
Wonder if he wrote any good songs.
So, yeah, he supposed he had a record deal at some point.
Yeah, I mean, he was down hanging with the Wilsons.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's right.
Boys.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Right, that's right.
The Beach Boys, man.
That's so crazy.
I know.
That's so
I'm gonna look it up on
crazy.
Spotify. Be like Charlie Manson music, man. What's up with it? I'm happy you're here, Jeff. You got a guy who knows everything. You know what I mean?
Ross Davis is in the building.
Yeah.
Kieran's in the building. Everybody's in the building.
You making a cameo, buddy? Your second time on Thanks for Sharing. Are you gonna play us Charlie Manson's music so we can get flagged on YouTube?
Whoa, there it is.
There's the album right there,
wow.
dude. He has a full-fledged album.
That's crazy.
Heavy hitters.
Yeah, heavy hitters,
That's
man.
so crazy.
Chuck and I, you don't know, but Chuck and I are doing a remix right now.
Yeah. I'm about to start telling people he's like my favorite musician. They're gonna be like, "What do you listen to?" And I'm like, "You know, it's really good, man, Charlie Manson." Dude.
I know. I think Marilyn Manson got a couple of things from him. So.
Which I will do with bands a lot. Like if someone brings up a band, I'm gonna be like, "Love them." Never even listen to them. Like I do it with that very popular New Jersey hardcore band Lifeless. With my buddy Kyle's in, and everyone loves Lifeless. They're not a band anymore, but I'm always like, they're my favorite fucking band.
Okay. Sick. I have to check them.
People are like, "You fuck with Lifeless?" I'm like, "You kidding me, dude?" Track number 3 changed my life.
There's so much out there.
Yeah, that's where I am.
That's crazy. But the funniest thing about this interview, I got so confused because there's an interview with because the lead singer from Wisdom of Change, his name is
Joe.
So I, for some reason, thought.
You thought I was going to be a large black man? Is that what you thought?
I thought that all of us were going to be here with Joe tripping. So it was like, so it was so funny that the music, the conversation went to music, and I was like, my original confused thought about this was like, whoa, because I remember I was telling my son, I think Joe's going to be here, and I'm like, oh,
yeah.
But because
different Joe altogether.
Yeah, and the fact that we've just been shoveling through 4 snowstorms in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah.
It's like my brain is fried.
I'm over it, man. I just got a dog in this weather. It sucks, dude. But he likes the snow, which is good. But
cool. What kind of puppy?
I got a corgi.
Cool.
Yeah, the Queen's dog, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. And they're not too big. They're like.
Yeah, he'll probably get like this tall.
Yeah.
He's like this tall right now.
Right. Killer.
Yeah, he's like a fat little sausage type thing.
God bless, man.
It's like a bigger dachshund is what it is. So
right.
It's a bigger wiener dog.
A barking pillow.
Yeah, he's pretty cool sometimes. He's
Good.
a puppy, so he's a nut right now, so it's frustrating. No one's sleeping in my house because he just cries through the night.
Right.
I ignore it because maybe I don't care.
Right.
What do I care about? I care about the dog, but I don't care that he's crying.
It's crying.
I want to sleep.
Yes. Sleep is good.
So I wake up the next morning and everyone's on edge in the house. They're like, this fucking dog is going through the drywall. I'm like, I hear you.
Right. Their head has got the dog inside their head.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
so our world revolves around that. You know what I mean? My mom babysits a lot for my brother because he has triplets, and now he has a 5-year-old, a 2-year-old, and he just had triplets. Yeah, his life's over, man.
Wow.
Yeah. That's heavy.
Who's he praying to? God, yeah, that's a wild one.
I don't know, man.
It's like
it's a blessing.
That's a
for
wild
sure.
triplets, like of 1, 2, and then 3.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm pretty sure I don't know the whole details, but I think they were just trying to have like a 3rd kid and be like, all right, that's
right.
And then they were like, all right, you're having your 3rd kid, but it's 3 of them.
So they decided to have kids. Probably did some mushroom tea, and the 3rd turned into 3 actual. That's a triplets.
Yeah.
Triplets.
It happened to my buddy Nate too, not too long ago, dude. He ended up having twins, but like at first they were like, "There's 3 in there."
Whoa.
So maybe it's me. People I just surround myself.
You know,
around.
yeah,
People
you're
are
giving
just
it
like, hey.
the 3s and the 2s.
So yeah,
5. Take 5. That's a great song.
Take 5. Great candy bar too. I don't know if you're a fan, dude.
Way back.
Yeah.
Way back. What's the candy bar? Nestle's Quick, John. Yeah, the almonds.
Crunch?
The almonds.
The almond joy?
Yeah, the almonds with Nestle Quick with almonds in it.
Oh, really?
The Hershey joints. The Hershey. Not Nestle Quick, Hershey with almonds, the bar. I'm mixing up the cocoa.
Yeah.
I'm all over it.
I like the straight Hershey's.
Those are good.
Plain.
That's good. They melt really quick though.
Yeah.
They're like sort of,
For s'mores, man, you know. I do not like almond joys though. Don't like coconut.
yeah, that's
I've
weird.
talked about it several times on here. It was my favorite thing to steal on Xanax. Just because the wrapper was blue, I don't even eat them. But I was like, yo, I need this shit.
That's good marketing.
Yeah. So when can we expect some Bing Crosby stuff, dude?
The record is just mixed and
Is it just
finished.
you and your son?
It's just me and my son, and there's a feature of Rachel. A friend of mine is out in California, and then what we're doing is going to start doing some different production since it's all improvised. So Kieran and I start going to different studios. I go to Jeff's and like play some stuff. This record was more rock based, and the stuff's going to start getting more production based now, more movie soundtrack.
Yeah.
So yeah, it should be out within like the next month or so. Just still keeping everything together, but I wanted to take time to get all the sounds together because it was a school project for Kieran that I started because we did homeschooling for his senior year, and I wanted to have a music project through the schooling. So it just wasn't just like do your work. I wanted to be able to jam and have fun.
My second time meeting your son. The first time I think I tripped him out because I always make a joke of people who do cool shit. I'm like, oh, that's my dad. I was outside of the Guillotine show you were playing.
Okay.
I was like, yo, Dad, and your son was sitting there, and he's like, what the fuck? And I was like, don't worry about him, man. I'm super white. I hope you know we're not related. You know what I mean?
That's funny. That was a fun show.
That was a fun show, man.
That was a fun
I think I left after you guys because I fucking went with Sharky, and he was like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
And I remember our one buddy he's a pretty scary individual.
Yeah.
And he was talking to Sharky, and he was like, "Oh, you leaving?" And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I drove, so we're gonna leave whenever I want to." He's like, "That's cute, you think that?" And I was like,
Oops.
Shook me to my core. I was like, you know what? I guess we'll leave when he wants to leave.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I guess it's not when I want to.
Well,
it was nice to think that for a
I
little
mean,
bit.
you could go and do something else, like do some yoga. You know what I mean? Just find things to
just vibe out a little.
Look at
bit,
it,
you know
especially that part of Philly. You can walk around the corner and get entertained. You know what I mean? So that neighborhood's pretty crazy.
Yeah, always a fun. There's always that homeless dude outside of that venue.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Well, he's always like, "I'll do one-handed push-ups right now," and I'm like, "Listen, I'll give you the $5 to not do them." And he's like, "Well, I'm going to do them anyways." I'm like, "Please stop, man." He's a Philly legend, man. He's a staple to the community.
That's the street. And that building has had a lot of years of people walking because that's where the Roots used to record. And, Amir
I was up there one time with Mark over there. He was recording a bass line for a rapper, and I got to go up there. I got to see The Things Fall Apart, Platinum Plaque.
Oh, sick!
Which is one of my favorite rap albums of all time, like top 5,
Great
definitely.
Record. Great record.
Big Roots guy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think Black Thought's very underrated. I mean, people. Not underrated. I guess that's a bad word, but I think he is probably one of the best rappers alive.
Yeah. He didn't want to get saturated in the solo market, which was good. He made out better.
He kept the crew together, man. He did some stuff with them, right?
Played a couple. Played guitar on a song or two on the first record, and did some gigs playing drums from when Amir was like busy doing different things and stuff like that. So we've all known each other from the jump when everyone was still kind of like being developed, you know.
You're out there killing it in the hip hop world too.
Thanks,
I see you jamming out with Scott a lot, so that's pretty cool.
Done a crap ton of work with Jeff too, so like that's where it all starts. Jeff, introduced me to, Freddie Fox. It stresses. I
like how I dropped Scott Storch like real casual. You were jamming with Scott, my boy.
Remember that one time we went to Freddie Fox's spot, and I got to the Lords.
Yeah.
And obviously they're a DJ, and they needed a guitar player, so we were there, and he came up to me because he thought I was the guitar player. He was like, it was pretty fun.
A little subtle racism's never, harmless.
You would never say it, then he'll kill you.
I don't know.
Freddie's wild, man.
Yeah.
The Wild Bunch.
It's just funny. It's like, hey, white guy with face tattoos, you play guitar, right? It's like, that's him, man.
He's the best, man.
He's like, I do exactly what you think I wouldn't do. That's me. And it's like, oh, shit, that's a big mind blow, man.
That was funny.
That's always great. I always like when a black dude takes over the punk rock thing because it's just like, does this make sense to you? And it's like, yeah, it makes perfect sense, dude. Why are you being weird about it, dude? It's always like it's like the Michael Jordan complex, dude.
Yeah.
It's like whatever this dude's about to play is better than anything we'll even think to write.
Or it just has its own vibe.
Yeah, its own
vibe. Not everybody can be Sid Vicious. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
It's like not everybody
Not
can
many
be.
Sid Viciouses out there.
No, that'd be wild. There's a lot of wannabes.
Yeah, that's true, man.
Well, the whole new trap world is all Sid Vicious. It's all the druggy.
Yeah.
You know, I want to kill myself, but I'm still want to be alive type thing.
Yeah, I'm sad, but also I'm going to move a brick real quick.
Yeah, why not?
Weird spot to be in, man.
Yeah. Why not? Why not make music where people are falling asleep and drooling?
Yeah.
Something.
I used to live in that world, not in the music of it, but I used to actually live that life.
No. Yeah, Philly. You
I think that's why I never got into like the whole like trap, super, like especially the sad boy rap that's been coming out right now, like the SoundCloud, like I'm so sad and depressed. I'm like, hey, listen, I've been there.
Yeah,
I'm good.
It's a hard life for people that have that. And it's a hard life. Philly's been wild.
Yeah. I'm just trying to listen to Jack Johnson, get some good vibes.
Yeah, you go on the beach and like look at a pine cone or something or whatever.
Hey man, whatever. I'm just trying to vibe out, man.
Coconut.
Yeah, a little coconut. Put a little drink in the coconut. I wouldn't do that. I hate coconuts, man. That's why I don't like almond joys.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Coconut out of a coconut.
Yeah. Just drink a Red Bull out of a coconut. People be like,
true.
What's wrong
with you, Mountain Dew.
Yeah, some Mountain Dew. A little Code Red, man. Nothing big.
Oh, yeah. Mad Dog.
Mad Dog 2020.
Yeah.
That was my shit when I was drinking. I tried fighting a light pole.
Yeah.
Not realizing I wasn't going to win because it's a light pole.
Yeah, right.
I had T-shirts made with light poles that said "Fight me, pussy." It's a very aggressive T-shirt. I don't see many people wearing them in public. They sold out. I've never seen one person wear it in public. I seen like 2 people. I'm like, damn.
The sleep ones, you know what I mean? The go to sleep shirts for you sleeping.
Yeah. Well, I wore it out to an AA meeting one day, and I didn't even realize. So I meet a lot of people in AA, and it's just because I've been sober a while. About to have 8 years in April. Not that it's like forever, but like for a younger dude, it's a lot of time.
Right.
And I was walking, so I meet a lot of people, and I'm not good with faces. Like I remember I ran into a dude at a meeting, and he took his hat off, and he's like, "It's me," and I was like, "I don't know what taking your hat off would accomplish." I don't know what people do. They're like, "Don't you know? It's me. I'm not wearing a hat." Yeah. I'm like, "Yeah, you still look the same." But,
your hair looks the same.
I'm not great with faces and names, dude, unless like it's fucking that monumental to me that I remember. But I thought the dude knew me because I was wearing my own shirt, so it says Joe White on the bottom, and it has a banner that says "Fight me, pussy." And he was like, "Joe White," and I was like, "Oh, what's up, man?" Like, just trying not to be a dick, even though I have no idea who he is. And he was like, "Fight me, pussy." And I was like, "What the fuck you just saying to me, dude?" And he's like, "Your shirt." And I was like, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, you put out a positive anthem for people in Philly. I mean, that is the vibe in Philly.
It's Eagles colors. It's green and gray. So,
you're pretty much right there.
It's a good tailgate shirt if you're wearing a "Fight Me, Pussy" shirt, and people are just like, "This dude loves football, man."
True. Yeah.
He gets what this city's about.
Yeah, or any comments of people, because I do get the random comments when I leave, and they say, "Oh, where are you from?" In Philly, and they start mentioning about the sports teams, and that's when that shirt will come in great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not for an antagonist.
I'm in a tricky spot because it's unless I'm traveling somewhere, that's the only time I say I'm from Philly because I grew up in Ben Salem and I still live in Ben Salem.
Good.
And Philly's, I don't know if every place is like this, but Philly has that weird pride.
Yeah.
Where it's like my boys grew up like in the Northeast and like the suburbs of Philadelphia, and they're like, "You ain't from Philly though, dog." I'm like, "You're from the suburbs too. Cut it out, dude."
Yeah, well, there's certain things. There's certain borough issues.
Yeah, certain borough issues. It's not like I'm from Allentown. I'm like, I'm from Philly, man. Yeah, Allentown, another Billy Joel reference, man. All right, man. We're towards the end, buddy. I appreciate you coming out during the crazy snowstorm. It was actually nice out today. It's starting to melt, so
better. Yeah, it's still now it's cold and windy, but it's good.
It's gonna be 56 tomorrow, which I'll take that. So, so we're fucking killing it, man.
Yes,
Chuck, honor and privilege to have you on here, man. Thanks for coming out here. Thanks for hanging out with me, man. I appreciate it.
Okay, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Hey, we're all. We did it, man.
That was good. What I heard. Big Chris says what's up.
It was.
Did you drop me from the roster?
Yo, Mark. Not yet. He says I didn't tell him about the coasters that you just have extensive.
Thanks for the pick, man.
I think it came up good, right?
Yeah, really good.
I shot on Adam and put him in like a film.
That's wild.
I'm gonna put
Sick.
it right now, man.
Yo, this is your boy Chicloni right now.
Peace out.
Yeah, dude.
Wait.
Yo, Joe.
Yeah, Mark.
We gotta figure out where my wallet's at.
Yeah, no, I know that much.
Wow.
Can't find your wall?
No. We gotta drive back to where I dropped my car
What?
off at.
No way.
Yeah. Which is fucking... Got a street.
Yeah, Mark.
That's crazy.
So, like, Dad paid me $5 to do this.
Oh, yeah. Let him just have him. So
You got paid to do that? That's crazy.
Oh, that's great.
So sick. 56.
That was so bright, dude. That was the brightest shit I ever seen, man.
Jeff, send me that video. Make a funny edit out of it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, edit that up,
But
dude.
email if you can.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
All right.